And we're back. This is Luca Mino once again. I wanted to talk to you today about wampum. And just like in every other subject you can talk about, there's so many people that are so eager to criticize so many people, and over the slightest little details, we're always picking on each other instead of trying to learn from each other. Well, I have a very humble offering today about the wampum because um, it really strikes me when I look at it. It really touches me in a different way. Probably because when I lived in Canada, I was exposed to the Métis and their culture and their sash, S-A-S-H, a sash that you can either wear around your shoulder or as a belt. You ever played with beads when you were a kid? I did, trying to cut the hole without cracking it. I used to play around with that all the time, and my sister did too. I think my brother did as well. I think almost every kid around the shoreline were, obsessed with picking up shells, or especially darker purple shells for me. Those are all part of, in Wampanoag territory on the east coast by Cape Cod, where I grew up, it was the quahog. And the beads are made from these shells, and of all shapes and sizes you can imagine, different size diameter holes as well. It's just amazing. And when you keep looking at that and you keep learning about how it's done, you can really appreciate the wampum itself. The 2-row wampum belt, Caswaneta, symbolizes the agreement and conditions under which the Haudenosaunee, people of the Longhouse, Iroquois, Six Nations, welcomed the white Europeans to Turtle Island, what they called North America. Historically, the Haudenosaunee were nations of people who practiced very sophisticated yet simple diplomatic principles in their dealings with other nations. Because the cultures, world views, and life ways of the European nations were so different, it was essential that a relationship be established based on mutual respect. And here is what they call the Great Treaty, a wampum belt delivered by the Indians to William Penn at what they call the Great Treaty under the Elm Tree in Shakamaxon in 1682. And as done with just about everything else, this treaty that was made with the Lenape under an ancient elm tree all of a sudden disappears because the scrupulous sons don't hold up the treaty, and they just destroy the original document. A little research on the web will have you come right up to the first Indian deed to William Penn in 1682. It's really cool. This is what I love doing. I love authenticating stuff and just making sure it's verified to the best of my knowledge. And as we see here, the Penn wampum belt, you can see the two entities holding hands in brotherhood and sisterhood. The oldest constitution, this is the Iroquois Constitution, as an example, and it shows, traced back right to the United States, it shows that the first United States were formed from a model that was the Iroquois Confederacy. So basically now what we're doing is we're comparing and we're analyzing the similarities between the Great Law of Peace and the U.S. Constitution, and we're finding out that one was modeled after the other. I don't want this to be a history lesson, but the Six Nations are in upstate New York, and Peacemaker always said that one arrow can easily be broken, but many together cannot. On a coin in 2010, we still see that symbol on our money. So it's kind of ironic. Benjamin Franklin goes to the Iroquois in his time and learns from their system. After Ben Franklin's visit, 22 years later, the first United States are formed under his model, which came from the Six Nations model. So it's something to think about when we think of we, the people, today. This is the wampum that really touches me, and this other 2-row wampum I'm going to show you in a second. This is the Iroquois flag, and you first see it on social media under memes like this one, and you just can't get to read what they really say. So I actually found a frame or a picture with the explanation in bigger sized lettering, so let me read it to you. Okay, you are looking at the first draft of the Constitution. Before the ideas of inalienable rights, liberty, and democracy were strung together in words, they were strung together in beads made of shells. In this Iroquois Confederacy wampum belt, it represents 1,000 years of democratic principles that we Indians shared with our brothers and sisters, including Thomas Jefferson and Benjamin Franklin, who openly acknowledged that our contribution formed the basis of the Constitution. We the people even began as an ancient Indian phrase, and it's important to the pursuit of all our happiness that we the people now means and continues to mean we, all of us who are Americans. And that's the one that haunts me the most, the 2-row wampum. Made out of the same material, made out of the same shells. Its 2 distinctive rows say so much without even speaking. I find it awe-inspiring. And it was talked about by the elders. They were held by the elders. Just evoking them is a powerful symbol in itself. And this is something else that's really important that we need to read, or that I need to read for you. This belt symbolizes the agreement and conditions under which the Iroquois welcomed the white peoples to this land. You say you are our father, and I am your son. We say we will not be like father and son, but like brothers. This wampum belt confirms our words. These 2 rows will symbolize 2 paths or 2 vessels traveling down the same river together. One, a birch bark canoe, will be for the Indian people, their laws, their customs, and their ways. We shall travel the river together, side by side, each in our own boat. Neither of us will make compulsory laws or interfere in the internal affairs of the other. Neither of us will try to steer the other's vessel. This is the 2-row wampum. And I just wanted to share that today because it's important. I just fell on it today, and it's for a good reason. So this is our teaching today.